Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. We have completed the second Anuvaka of Taittiriya Upanishad. In the second Anuvaka we had seen the Shiksha Adhyaya. That means the matters related to language like Varnaha, Swaraha, Matra, Balam, Sama, Santana. So all the six have been briefly stated in the second Anuvaka, and now we are in the third Anuvaka. We find here the subject matter of third Anuvaka is Mahasamhita. That means the great Sandhi. This Sandhi is rather not of this world, not of language. It is on a different tone that they want to explain the Sandhi. Now we see the text. Sahanau Yashaha Sahanau Brahma Varchasam Adhatas Samhitayaha Upanishadam Vyaakhyasyamaha Panchaswadhikaraneshu Adhilokam Adhijyotisham Adhividyam Adhiprajam Adhyatmam Ta Mahasamhita Itya Chakshate Adhadhilokam Pruthivi Purvarupam Dyaurutara Rupam Akashasandhihi Vayusandhanam Ityadhilokam Adhadhijyotisham Agnif Purvarupam Aditya Uttara Rupam Apasandhihi Vaidyutasandhanam Ityadhijyotisham Adhadhividyam Acharya Purvarupam Antevasyuttara Rupam Vidya Sandhihi Pravachanagum Sandhanam Ityadhividyam Adhadhiprajam Mata Purvarupam Pitottara Rupam Praja Sandhihi Prajananagum Sandhanam Ityadhiprajam Adhadhyatmam Adharahanuh Purvarupam Uttarahanuruttara Rupam Vak Sandhihi Jihva Sandhanam Ityadhyatmam Iti Ma Mahasamhita Ya Evameta Mahasamhita Vyakhyata Veda Sandhiyate Prajaya Pashubhihi Brahmavarchase Nanadyena Suvargena Lokena. So this is the Anuvaka. It says Sahanau Yashaha. Now Avayoho, both the teacher and the student, Saha, together, Yashaha, may there be fame, prosperity to both of us. Saha now Brahma Varchasam, may we both attain the glory, the splendor, the energy of the Brahman. Atha, then, Ataha, for this reason, Samhitayaha Upanishadam Vyaakhyasyamaha, we shall now expound the secret of this Mahasamhita, the essence of this Mahasamhita. Panchaswadhikaraneshu, in 5 subjects or under 5 heads. 1. Adhilokam. 2. Adhijyotisham. 3. Adhividyam. Adhiprajam. Adhyatmam. These are the 5 heads. Taha Mahasamhita Itya Chakshate, and all these 5 are called together Mahasamhita. I know Shankara Bhagavad-pada will explain to us why these are called Mahasamhita. And we understand here Panchasu Adhikaraneshu, that means the entire topic of this Anuvaka, this section, is Mahasamhita, and this Mahasamhita should be observed and felt by us at various levels, like 5 different levels. And the first one is Adhilokam. That means in the world, the entire universe should be understood as one Samhita. 2. Adhijyotisham. Among the luminaries also there is a Samhita which we should understand and absorb. 3rd, Adhividyam. That means while during the transmission of knowledge also there is sandhi that we should understand. Adhiprajam, that means in the act of procreation also there is this kind of samhita. And finally adhyatm, and within also, within our body also, this kind of samhita is going on. And now this Upanishad tries to explain to us the proper places of this samhita. Exactly, samhita, as we had seen earlier, is the coming togetherness of two letters, and whatever happens in the place of those letters is called sandhi, parasannikarsha samhita, or the utmost proximity of two letters. When they are uttered, the linguistic change of the particular letter is called samhita. So this is a kind of pronunciation pattern. But that kind of samhita which we observe in the language is found in the world also. That's what this Upanishad wants us to understand. See, in the language, especially in Sanskrit language, when sandhi takes place or samhita takes place, we find that there will be two words. The first word will end in a particular letter, and the second word will begin with a particular letter. And in samhita, these two letters are very important, because these two letters, when they are uttered without any gap, they result in a particular different sound sometimes. And this kind of coming togetherness of these letters is called samhita or sandhi. And in this particular stage, we find there will be purva rupam, that means the previous form, uttara rupam, the next preceding, the preceding and succeeding, both letters will be there, and their coming togetherness will be there, and that which causes that particular sandhi will also be there. And all these are in a very detailed manner explained in the Sanskrit grammar books. Now this is Upanishad, and here metaphysically this Upanishad wants to explain clearly this particular concept of samhita, and that's why it says Mahasamhita. This samhita is not to be taken in the ordinary sense here. It is Mahasamhita, that means the cosmic or macro level samhita there, and it is rather universal samhita, and it is Upanishadam, and this is the essence of this entire Upanishad. And we may question here that this itself is Taittiriya Upanishad, and within this Upanishad also the word Upanishad is used. So what does it mean? What does it denote? And we should understand here that though the text is called Upanishad, the important cardinal doctrines or important points of that particular text are also called Upanishad, the secret, the essence of this particular Upanishad. Vyakhyasamaha, that's what the Upanishad says. Vyakhyasamaha means we shall now explain the samhita that we should all understand in the macro level in this text. And this Panchasu Adhikaraneshu, Adhikaranam means the place, the substratum or locus. So the samhita is taking place in the universe at 5 places. The Upanishad says, 1 Adhilokam, among the worlds, Adhijyotisham, among the luminaries, Adhividyam, during the process of knowledge, Adhiprajam, that is in the procreation, Adhyatmam, within. So this way there are 5 places the Upanishad intends to explain to us, and all these together are called Mahasamhita iti achakshate. So the Vedic seers or sages call these 5 places of Samhita as Mahasamhita. Now what is this Adhilokam? Now we understand this with the help of the slide. Adhilokam. Here Adhilokam means within the worlds. What are the worlds? 1 Prithvi, 2 Dyauh, and between these two, that means between the earth and heaven, the connector is Akasha. This is the connector, and connecting factor Sandhana is Vayuhu Sandhanam. So we understand here 4 things. 1, just in the language also, between 2 words also, when sandhi takes place, we understood that there is one purva rupam and other uttara rupam, and there is sandhi and samhita. Similarly, here also we understand 1 Prithvi, 2 Dyauh. This is the first one. Prithvi Purva Rupam. That means the earth in the ordinary sense, the earth is the Purva Rupa. And Dyauh is the heaven, this is the Uttara Rupa. So these two are there. And what connects these two, earth and heaven? That is Akasha. Akasha is the Sandhi. That means the place where the Sandhi or conjunction of these two takes place is the Akasha. And what connects these two? He says Vayuhu Sandhanam, and this cosmic air and this particular energy connects both the earth and heaven. This is the first Samhita. That means it is the proper understanding of the words that the earth and heaven both are connected in the sky with the help of this air. And now Adhadhi Jyotisham. The second is Jyotisha. That means between two luminaries. What are the luminaries? Here he says Agni Purva Rupam. Agni. It is actually the thermal power, the electricity. It is the Agni. Agni Purva Rupam. This is the first form of this Samhita. And what it is succeeded, or what is the next one? It is Aditya. Aditya is generally taken in the sense of sun. And why is he called Aditya? We understand from the Vedic texts that this word comes from Aditi. Diti and Aditi. Diti means do avakhandane, that which is divided is Diti. Aditi means that which is undivided, the undivided energy that is passing through the universe, that which manifests itself in the form of the universe, and it is called Aditi. Aditi means the indivisible energy, and that Aditi, when it manifests, the first product, the first outcome of this energy is called Aditya. So Aditya is in the Puranas also stated as son of Aditi, but if we take in this sense, Aditya is the sun, which is actually the manifestation of the energy, and that undivided energy, the unitary energy, the soul energy is called Aditi according to the Vedic text. And that's why this Aditi is called as Deva Prasuhu, Aditi Deva Mata. So the Vedas say that Aditi is mother of all gods. What are the gods? We understand that Prithvi Devata, Vayu Devata, Agni Devata, Jala Devata. So these are all Devata in our tradition. And Devata means the very shining, illuminary body, that which is the locus of energy. And we understand that this undivided energy, indivisible energy, is the cause of all these, the earth, water, air, fire. And that's why it is called mother of all gods. And that energy is Aditi, and its first outcome is the sun, and that's why sun is called Aditya. And now here we find Agni Purva Rupam. So the electricity is the Purva Rupa, followed by Aditya Uttara Rupam. And what connects these two? He says Apa Sandhihi, and it's very important here. Apaha. Apaha means water, and water is the Sandhi. That means it connects both. And Vaidyuta Sandhanam. What is the connecting factor? It is Vaidyuta or lightning. And we understand that the lightning in the clouds also is an outcome of the water there. That means the electric charge is there. And that's why the lightning is the Sandhana connecting factor. And thus the Agni is connected with the Aditya, and the connected place is called the Apaha, that is the water. And this is exactly the fact behind the hydroelectricity there, because Apaha and Vaidyuta, these two, when they get connected, it is actually hydroelectricity. And the Agni, if it is taken as it is the thermal energy. And now he is talking about the Apaha. That means the water where the energy is produced. It is hydroelectricity. Then Ityadhi Jyotisham, and this is a fact, this is a matter of science mentioned in the Taittiriya Upanishad. And now he says Adhadhi Vidyam. Now coming to the third one, Adha Adhi Vidyam, that means during the process of knowledge, that means learning communicating, teaching. So in this process also we find a samhita. What is this samhita? He says, Acharya Purva Rupam. That means in this particular kind of samhita we have the previous form is Acharya. Antevasyuttara Rupam. The Antevasi or student is the second form. Now Sandhi is taking place between these two. That is teacher and student, the preceptor and the disciple. Between these two, the samhita is taking place. Okay. But what is the place of samhita? Vidya sandhihi. So the knowledge is the sandhi there. That means because of education only, the teacher and student get connected. And what is the connecting factor? Pravachanagum sandhanam. That means giving discourse, exposition, explaining something, teaching something is actually the process of connecting that. So the connecting factor is teaching. Through teaching only, they two are getting connected. And the knowledge is the outcome there. And now the Upanishad says in the process of knowledge also we have this kind of samhita. There Acharya Purva Rupam, Antevasyuttara Rupam, Vidya Sandhi, Pravachanagum Sandhanam. So this is the process of knowledge. And now when we come to the act of procreation, that means giving birth to child also, we find behind this particular natural course also, we find the samhita. That means there is a divine conjunction. What is that? Mata Purva Rupam, mother is the first form. Then the sandhi takes place, both get united, and Pita Uttara Rupam, Mata and Pita, these two are the two forms. When they get connected, and the connecting point is Praja Sandhihi, the issues, the progeny or the offspring, it is called Praja. That is the connecting point, place. And what does connect? What is the act of connecting that? So he says Prajananagum Sandhanam. That means the act conducive to the birth of a child, that particular act, Prajananam, that is called the Sandhana. So in this also we find Purva Rupa, Uttara Rupa, Sandhi and Sandhana. Then we have Ityadhi Prajam, Adha Adhyatmam. Now Adhyatmam, that means within ourselves, there is Sandhi again. What is this Sandhi? Adhara Hanuf Purva Rupam. So the lower palate, that means in the mouth, there are two places, the lower palate, upper palate, and touching this particular point when the letters are uttered, the place of articulation is called the palate and the letters are called palatal letters. So the two palates are there, and now he says Adhara Hanuf Purva Rupam. The lower palate is Purva Rupa, followed by Uttara Hanuruttara Rupam. The next Uttara Hanu, it is the Uttara Rupa, Vak Sandhihi. So what does connect these two? The place of connection is Vak, speech. And the connecting factor, Jihva, because the tongue only that touches these points, and with the help of tongue only we are able to utter different kinds of letters. And therefore these are the five. Ityadhyatmam. So this is called Adhyatma. That means the within, that the sandhi taking place within. Iti Imaha Mahasamhita. So these five are the Mahasamhita. Ya evam eta Mahasamhita vyakhyata Veda. Whoever understands these five samhita, the exposition of this samhita as intended by the Upanishad, Etah Mahasamhitaha Vyakhyataha Veda. Whoever knows the macro level of this particular exposition, then what happens to him? The result is given here, Sandhiyate. So he will also get a Sandhi there. That means if a person understands these five places of Sandhi, then he will also have a Sandhi. That means he will get united, he will get connected. With what? He says Prajaya. First thing, he will get connected with Praja. That means he will get good offspring. Pashubhihi, he will get the Pashu Sampatti. That means he will get whatever he wants, the material wealth also. Brahma Varchasena, he will also get Brahma Varchas. That means the energy, the radiance, the brightness on his face. Annadyena Suvargena Lokena. Not only that, annadyena, that means he will also get enough food, he will also get shelter, everything. And not only that, suvargena lokena, this is swarga loka, but in the Upanishad it is mentioned as suvarga, and ultimately it is swarga loka. What is this swarga loka? So we understand here that swaha is referring to that particular happiness or bliss which never perishes. That means it is imperishable, undecaying bliss. That means that kind of bliss which will last forever. And that particular bliss is swaha, and swarga loka means experience of that kind of bliss is swarga loka. And the person knowing these 5 kinds of samhita will get that kind of sandhi. That means he will also get whatever he desires, whatever is good for him, and this Upanishad knowledge will definitely bestow on him all kinds of prosperity. Now, this is the basic text. Now we try to understand what Shankaracharya has got to explain. Tatra samhitadi Upanishad parijnana nimittam yad yashaha prarthyate tat sahanau yashaha. Now Shankara Bhagavad-pada is explaining the words there, saha nau yashaha. Now avayoho, this is Shashti Dvivachana, for both of us, for whom Shishya and Acharya, that means for both the teacher and the student. Yat yashaha prarthyate, so whatever fame they are seeking, whatever fame they want, what kind of fame? Samhitadi Upanishad parijnana nimittam yad yashaha prarthyate. That means that kind of fame which is the base for the understanding of Samhitadi Upanishad. That means the text explained here, the Mahasamhita, the Omkara and other things also. So the thorough knowledge of all this secret knowledge of these topics discussed here. So by understanding these two, the Mahasamhita, Omkara, etc. See, yad yashaha prarthyate. So whatever fame he seeks, he requests, tat sahaiva astu. May we, that means may both of us, the teacher and the student, obtain that kind of fame. So ultimately, this means that both the teacher and the student get that kind of fame by which his name will be eternal, his family will be eternal, and this fame is based on the knowledge of the Upanishad mentioned here. That means one understands the Upanishad, and on the basis of that only one will definitely get fame. Tannimittam, and naturally the radiance or the brilliance on his face, that is a result of knowledge of this particular Upanishad. That means whosoever understands this secret, one whosoever is established in this particular reality, so he will get that Brahma Varchasam. That's why Shankara Bhagavad-pada says Tannimittam Brahma Varchasam. That means this spiritual radiance born out of the knowledge of this secret. Tejaha, so it is the splendor. Tacha sahaiva astu shishya vachanamashi. So it says, may we both get that kind of radiance, that kind of spiritual brilliance. And this is Shishya Vachanam Ashihi. So this is not the teacher's word, but the student's words. And students desire. So here the student desires that may we both get this kind of fame, this kind of radiance. That Shishyasya hi akritarthatvat prarthana upapadyate na acharyasya. Shankara Bhagavad-pada explains that Shishyasya hi akritarthasya, because the student is yet to be instructed, he is receiving the instruction from the teacher. Akritarthatvat, he is not kritartha. Who is kritartha? Kritaha arthaha. That means, artha means the prayojana, the purpose. Krita means served. So one who has got the purpose served is kritartha. And Shishya, that means who is still undergoing instruction, he is akritartha. He is not. He has not yet achieved the goal. He has not yet got the purpose served to him, and therefore prarthana upapadyate. So it is quite pertinent that the student now requests. Na acharyasya. But we cannot say that the teacher is desiring all these things or the teacher is expecting all these things. We cannot say so because kritarthatvat, because the teacher is kritartha. That means the purpose is served. In the case of the teacher, kritarthohi acharyo nama bhavati. So here Shankara Bhagavad-pada puts it across very beautifully that who is acharya? Acharya is that individual who has got the goal achieved, who has got the target achieved, who has got the purpose served to him. That means who is a perfect person. Kritartho namahi acharyo bhavati. So that kind of individual alone can become a teacher. And that's why in Sanskrit we find the word acharya for that kind of a spiritual person. Who is acharya? Achinoti arthan. Acharya sthapayatyapi. So traditionally we understand that the word acharya refers to a person who collects various things from various sources and he himself puts them into practice and then he teaches all these things. So the person who lives for his principles is called acharya, and therefore he doesn't have any desires, wishes, etc., and only the student has. And therefore whatever has been stated here, sahanau yashaha, sahanau brahmavarchasam, so these are the words of the student and not the teacher. Atha, and now in the main Upanishad we find adhata samhitayaha upanishadam vyakhyāsyāmaha. Shankara Bhagavad-pada says atha. Atha means then, after this, anantaram, adhyena lakshana vidhanasya. That means after the study here, ataha. So the second word in the Upanishad is ataha. Ataha means for this purpose. What is the purpose? For what? Now the commentary goes, yataha atyartham grandhabhavita buddhihi nashakyate sahasa arthajnana vishaye avatarayitum. He says, arthajnana vishaye grandhabhavita buddhihi sahasa avatarayitum nashakyate. He says, it's not easy to get the student's attention directly into the text or subject matter immediately. It's not possible. So we find in the classroom also that all of a sudden the teacher enters and starts delivering a lecture. So there is a practical problem that the student's attention is not caught there. So in order to get the attention of the student, the teacher or the lecturer does something. Here also, with a view to get the attention of the student, these things are first explained. The Mahasamhita, Vyakhyata, the Vyakhyāsyāmaha, he says. That means the Mahasamhita are first propounded there and then the exposition proceeds. Now here, Grantha Bhavita Buddhi Nashakyate Sahasa Avatarayitu. Since it is not possible to get the attention of the students directly into the text, it is better that the exposition begins with the other things also. Iti ataha. So for this reason, Samhitayaha Upanishadam. That means the secret of this Samhita. What is Upanishadam? Samhita Vishayam. That means pertaining to that particular Samhita. Darshanam Ityetad Grantha Sannikrishtameva. So what is this Samhita? It is actually very close to this particular one, very close. Darshanam, it is actually the sight, the vision. And after all, Upanishad is the intuitive sight. It is actually the kind of sight or vision we are supposed to get. This is the darshanam. That means we naturally look at the universe in a different manner. We understand the soul in a different manner. We understand the purpose of our existence also on this planet in a different manner. But when it comes to the Shastra has a different kind of vision for us. And it says Shastra Drushti. Shastra Drushti means it is not natural, but which is created, which is generated by the understanding of the Shastra. So that is Darshanam. That means we are awakened within and we get all of a sudden a different kind of vision, and we look at the universe around, we look at the things around, we look at the people around, and we take the particular circumstance in a different manner. So all this is because of that particular vision, and that vision is called darshana. And for this reason only, we have different darshana. We have Charvaka darshana, we have Bauddha darshana, we have Jaina darshana, we have Nyaya darshana, Sankhya darshana, Yoga darshana, Vedanta darshana, Mimamsa darshana. That means these particular schools are trying to create a particular vision within us. Charvaka vision. That means Charvaka wants to see the world in this way, and he wants us to see the world in that particular manner, and it is called the Charvaka darshana. The Bauddha darshana, so only the intellectual level. So it is Buddhi, and he says you try to understand the universe in this way, and it is the vision given by the Buddhists, and it is called the Bauddha darshana. Similarly, Jaina darshana. And when it comes to Sankhya darshana, we understand that it is Samkhya. Samkhya. Sam is Upasarga, that is perfect. Khya means knowledge, and proper, thorough knowledge. What is this thorough knowledge? The Sankhya Darshana says it is the ability to discriminate, to differentiate, distinguish those two, one matter and other consciousness. So when I am unable to perceive this particular difference between these two, so naturally I fall prey to all the allurings. Therefore, he says here, so Sankhya means that kind of discretion, the ability to distinguish the two, matter and consciousness, not attributing the qualities of one on the other. So this Sankhya. And Sankhya says, look at the world in this way, and you will be relieved, you will be liberated forever. And Yoga, it says, get connected. So this is our vision, says Yoga Darshana. So get connected. Get connected with what? Get connected with the Chaitanya, not with the outer world. That's why Chittavritti Nirodha is the kind of darshana it has provided. And it says, Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. So what is the outcome of this kind of vision? It says very clearly that by this vision, we will be firmly established in our pure form of consciousness. And it is drashtu swarupe avasthanam. And it is Yoga Darshana, or the vision provided by Yoga Shastra. We have similarly Nyaya Darshana. Nyaya Darshana, Nyaya, as we find in the Bhashya, Pramanaihi Arthaparikshanam Nyayaha. That means examining, evaluating, assessing the entire world with the help of Pramana, with the help of proofs, with the help of means of valid knowledge is called Nyaya Shastra. And Nyaya Shastra says, you try to evaluate the world with the tools given by us. And this kind of pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, shabda, so this kind of the instrument, apparatus is provided to you, and you go ahead, you get valid knowledge with the help of these. So this is called Nyaya Darshana. Similarly, the other Darshana, we have Mimamsa Darshana. That means the proper way of analyzing and understanding the Vedic sentences. It is Mimamsa. That means Veda, Vakya, Tatpariya, Nirnaya. So it is actually ascertaining the true sense of the Vedic sentences. In what context they are uttered, in what context they are to be uttered and utilized. So the connection is also stated in the Mimamsa, and it says this way only you can get liberation. It is called Mimamsa Darshana. Now we have Vedanta Darshana, and the very important thing is here that, as we had seen in the beginning also, that Veda means knowledge, and Anta is the culmination of that. And after all, if all the other darshanas are stressing on the importance of knowing, the Vedanta says that above that knowing there is experience, and the knowledge should mature into experience. That means if a person fails to experience all the things mentioned in the Upanishad, then that knowledge will be only a burden, and knowledge should not be carried on the head like some burden. It should be taken like a boat for sojourn. So here we understand that the Vedanta Darshana points out that the realization of Brahman alone can relieve us from all kinds of bondages, and this is called the vision provided by Vedanta or the Upanishads. So this way we find here that the Darshana means vision, and the Darshana presented here is Mahasamhita Darshana. That means understanding the entire universe in 5 categories, and the understanding the Samhita taking place at 5 places is the Mahasamhita. That is the great secret here. That's why Shankara Bhagavad-pada says Darshanam iti Vyakhyāsyama. So we are going to explain this further. Panchasu adhikaraneshu. So in Panchasu adhikaraneshu, that means at 5 places. What are they? Adhikarana. Adhikarana means Ashraya. Adharo adhikaranam. This is the Panini Sutra. Adhikarana means Ashraya, or the base. And here we understand that the base is not physical, but Jnana Vishayeshu. That means they are to be understood. So at 5 levels we should understand the Samhita taking place in the universe. Kanitani ityaha. Now for the question, what are they? The reply is Adhilokam, Adhijyautisham, Adhividyam, Adhiprajam, Adhyatman, the 5. What is Adhilokam? Lokeshu Adhi. That means within the worlds. Yad Darshanam. That means what the kind of vision we are supposed to get by looking at the worlds. That means between the worlds also there is Samhita taking place, and we are supposed to get the vision. Tat Adhilokam. That kind of vision is Adhilokam Samhita vision. Tatha Adhijyautisham. Similarly, we understand between 2 luminaries. Adhividyam in the process of knowledge. Adhiprajam in the process of giving birth. Adhyatmam in the process within, taking place within. Ta etaha pancha vishayaha. So taha etaha pancha vishayaha. That means these 5 matters of knowledge. Upanishadaha lokadi mahavastu vishayatvad. So these are actually the Upanishad. These are the secrets, secret knowledge. And because their subject matter is something great, something macro, therefore they are called Mahasamhita. Mahavastu vishayatvat, on account of having a very great subject matter. Samhita vishayatvat, and because of having the Samhita as subject matter. Mahatyascha taha samhitascha. So the Karmadhare Samasa is resorted to here. That is, the Upanishad, the secretive knowledge here is known as Maha Samhita. Maha on account of the subject matter, Samhita on account of the topic discussed here. So because of this only it is called Maha Samhita. Iti achakshate. Thus they say, who kathayanti Veda Vidaha. So thus say the Vedic seers. That means the people who know the true meaning of the Veda, of knowledge. They say the entire universe is matter of knowledge, and if you have to understand the universe, understand this in this way. So the Mahasamhita is presented here. Atha tasam yadhopanyasthanam adhilokam darshanam uchyate. Now, whatever 5 Mahasamhita have been offered here, explained here, Adhilokam darshanam uchyate. So first, the Adhiloka, the first vision is between 2 worlds. Darshana krama vivakshartho adha shabdaha sarvatra. So the word adha, as in Adhilokam, Adhijyautisham, Adhyatmam. So wherever the adha word occurs, we understand that the word is to tell us that there is an order. So first Adhilokam, then Adhijyautisham. So this way, that particular sequence is indicated by the word Adha there. Now the first one, Prithvi. So this is Adhilokam. Prithvi Purva Rupam, he said. Prithvi Purva Rupam. That means the earth is the previous. What is this Purva Rupa? Shankara Bhagavad-pada says Purva Varnaha. This is only similarity. That means when Sandhi takes place between 2 words, the previous letter and the next letter, and when they come together, they result in a different particular letter, that particular sound, and we say the Sandhi has taken place. So here also, in the place of previous letter, we imagine the earth, and in the place of the second letter, we imagine the Dyauhu. Samhitaya Purva Varnaha, Purva Rupam, संहितायाः पूर्वे वर्णे पृथ्वी दृष्टिः कर्तव्या इत्युक्तं भवति. So Shankaracharya explains that when Sandhi is taking place, you imagine, you visualize that the first letter or the previous letter is Prithvi. Tadha, similarly, Dyauh Uttara Rupam. That means the second one is Dyauh, that is the heaven. Dyauh Uttara Rupam. Akashaha, this is Sandhi. What is Akasha? Antariksha Lokaha. Antariksha Loka. What is Antariksham? Antar Rukshani Yasmin Tad Antariksham. That means that space, that gap in which we see the stars, the planets, everything. So that is called the Antariksha. That means the place where they appear. Antariksham. And it is the space and it is called the Sandhi. Madhyam. Purva Uttara Rupayoho Sandhiyete Asmin Purvottara Rupe iti. So, what is Sandhi here? Sandhi means the place where the conjunction takes place. The place where these two letters come together and become one. So, it is Akasha, it is the space. And in this space only, the earth and heaven both come together, they have a conjunction. And therefore, Sandhi is taken in the sense of the place. Sandhiyete asmin purva uttara rupe. Now, Vayuhu sandhanam, he said in the Upanishad. Vayu, the air, it is the sandhana. That means the connecting factor. And here sandhana is taken in the instrumental sense. Therefore, sandhiyate anena. Sandhiyate asmin. So these two are differently derived. Sandhi is the word which is derived in the sense of the saptami, locative. Therefore it means the place where Sandhi takes place. Then Sandhana is that by which the Sandhi is taking place. That means which is conducive to this particular conjunction. So Prithvi, that is the earth and heaven, both are getting united in the space, and the Vayu is connecting both. Iti adhilokam darshanam ityuktam. So this is the kind of vision of the worlds. Similarly, we have iti adha adhijyautisham ityadi samanam. Similarly, we should understand the Sandhi taking place in the luminaries, in the Vak, in Praja, in Adhyatma. So at all levels also we understand this particular Samhita. So take for example the Adhijyautisha. He says there that two luminaries are separated, but still there is a connection between the two. That means the universe is not some vacuum. There is nothing called as gap in the universe. Everything is connected, and that's why in the modern science also they tend to call this as cosmic soup. That means everything is connected, and it is also figuratively called as cosmic web. That means each body is connected with other, each event is connected with another, and the entire universe is not separate. It is within a particular single unit called Brahman, and therefore it is called the cosmic web. Just as the spider weaves its web and every corner of that is connected with another, similarly the entire universe, all the galaxies, all the planets, stars, everything is connected, and the connecting factor in the case of the luminaries is their rays, the energy they emit. So the energy passes through and that connects with another, and there again further energy is released, and thus all the bodies in the space are connected with each other, and the graha, nakshatra, everything, and that particular sandhana is the energy. And that's why the earth is connected with the sun, and there is gravitational pull between these two. Similarly, to the edge of this particular solar system, we find another body, that is the planet there, but that is also attracted, and because of that only all the bodies are moving around the sun, and the sun with all these bodies is moving in the galaxy, and the galaxies are moving. So that's what the modern science has been telling us, and this kind of Sandhi is taking place, and we understand the entire universe as a place of Sandhi. So not only in this luminaries, we understand this in the Vidya also. That means when something is taught, just I am teaching something and somebody is there somewhere very far, though there is no direct connection also, Acharya Purva Rupam, of course there is the teacher on one side connected with the other person, student on the other side, both these are connected. And what is the connecting place? The place is Vidya, knowledge. And this Vidya connects two individuals. If there is no Vidya at all, there cannot be a teacher, there cannot be a student also. And similarly, the connecting factor is Pravachana. That means if the teacher sits quiet there cannot be any connection at all. Pravachana or the instruction, the communication or teaching is the Sandhanam here. So this way everybody is connected, and we find in the issues also, offspring also, we find there mother, father, these are the two, Purva Rupa and Uttar Rupa. The connecting place of these, that means for which they are connected, that purpose is Praja, that means the issues or offsprings. And what connects these two? Prajananagum, the act of procreation. So this way they are also connected. And in the speech also we find that when Vak is the Sandhi, we find there that tongue, it actually produces the speech, it actually causes us to speak. And this tongue, when it touches the top of the palate here, there is the lower palate, upper palate, when tongue touches them, then only we are able to utter different kinds of letters. And there also we understand this particular Samhita, and that's why the Upanishad is now emphasizing on the understanding of this Mahasamhita. Now Shankaracharya explains iti imaha, iti, thus imaha, imaha means these Mahasamhitaha, iti uktaha upapradarshante. So this way we have now demonstrated or explained all these Mahasamhita. Yah kaschit evam etaha Mahasamhitaha vyakhyataha Veda. He says, whoever knows, understands these 5 Mahasamhita in the manner explained in the Upanishad, he will be attached. That means he will be bestowed upon with all these, the material property. Now a point needs to be understood properly here. Shankaracharya tries to bring our attention to important point here, that Veda, the word, should not be understood in the general sense of knowing that, because it has been very emphatically stated in the Upanishad that knowing, mere knowing is not of any use, because knowing is different. That's why Shankaracharya uses the word that is as synonym of Veda, upaste. He says Veda means upasana. What is the difference between these two? Veda is knowing, upasana is living. That means when a person is performing upasana, that means he is living to that. Every time he tries to get that. That's why elsewhere in the Upanishad Bhashya, Shankara Bhagavad-pada explains upa asana, upa samipe asana. That means always connecting oneself with that particular reality is called upasana. So upasanam, it can be the sajatiya pratyaya pravaha. That means it is like a dhyana where similar thought waves, similar ideas are flowing, not being interrupted by different kinds of thoughts. So that similar flow of ideas or thoughts is called dhyana. But here upasana means becoming one with that, whatever one understands, becoming one with that and trying to be near that always, trying to be connected with that always, that is called upasana. And therefore Shankara Bhagavad-pada says here, though the word Veda is used in the Upanishad, we should not just take that word in the sense of knowing that, because somebody explains this thing, the other person understands, knows and lives it. By just knowing the meaning of that, one cannot get the promised fruit. One has to live for that. That means living in this way, every time getting that particular kind of vision is very important. And now he says Veda iti upasanam. He further explains that the word Veda means upasana. Vijnana adhikarat iti prachina yogyopasva iti cha vachanat. Shankara Bhagavad gives us two reasons for this kind of interpretation. He says, Vijnana adhikarat, because the person is entitled to get that kind of experience, the realization. Therefore, Veda means experience here. And second thing, elsewhere in this Upanishad only, iti prachina yogyo pasva. Prachina yogya is the word used to address that particular student. Prachina yogya. That means you are not soul of this particular time, you are eternal. Prachina yogya. You are eternal as soul and you are eligible to get this knowledge. And you are prachina yogya. Now, my dear student, you get this knowledge and put it in practice. Upasva, upasanam kuru. That means you live for that. You become one with that. And you make it your lifelong principle. And this is very important. Upasana, this actually lays stress on accepting something as lifelong principle. So upasana means that. People do different kinds of upasana. It means no other thing than accepting something as lifelong principle. Because our mind is attuned. So whatever we believe, whatever we put faith in, that becomes one with ourselves. That means yo yachraddha sayeva saha. That means we become one with what we believe. And therefore, we believe if there is Brahman, we become one with that. If we believe there is a material world, we become one with that. So if we believe that a particular deity gives us our desired fruit, we become one with the deity. And the way of connecting with the favorite deity is called upasana. Iti prachina yogyo pasva, says the same Upanishad. Iti cha vachanat. Upasanancha. What is this upasanam? Yadha shastram. Now he splits, Shankara Bhagavad splits the word and explains in a beautiful manner. Yadha shastram, that means as per the shastra, strictly following the principles of shastra. Tulya pratyaya santatihi. Tulya pratyaya santatihi. Santati means flow. Pratyaya means knowledge or thought. Tulya means similar. So homogeneous flow of thoughts, that is the same kind of thought flow, is called upasana. But asankirna, not being interrupted, not being mixed with. What? Atat pratyayehi. That means not being mixed with other kind of thoughts. That is called upasana. Shastrokta alambana vishayacha. Oh, what is the substratum of that? That means what is the base of that? Alambana. Shastrokta vishaya. That means the mind goes astray. It goes after all the material things also. There is also a concentration. We observe that a person who is addicted to something, like a drunkard, so he also has that upasana. That means his mind is one pointed. He will be thinking of that only. That is not interrupted by anything. Everything okay. That one pointedness of mind is achieved otherwise also. That's why Shankara Bhagavad warns us. It's not about the material things. He says, Shastrokta Vishaya Alambana. That means the mind should have addiction not for the material things, but Shastrokta Vishaya. That means whatever is enjoined, whatever is prescribed for our good by the Shastras, that should be the base of that kind of flow of thought. So if our mind rests on that particular thing which is enjoined by the scriptures, that becomes upasana. And now he says, Prasiddhascha upasana shabdartho loke. In the world also, this word is very popularly used in this particular sense. How? Gurum upaste. Gurum upaste. That means a person is sitting very close to the Guru. He is worshipping his Guru, or in a way he is trying to follow a very sincere manner his own teacher. This is called Gurum upaste. Then other word, Rajanam Upaste. So a person is trying to please the king, wants to become one with the king, wants to be favored by the king. He becomes Upasaka of that particular Raja. Yohi Guruvadin Santatam Upacharati. So the person, whoever worships, whoever serves, whoever offers gratitude to his teacher, Upacharati. Upacharati means whoever serves. Saha upaste ityuchyate. So naturally we say that that particular person is worshipping his teacher. Worshipping not physically but mentally, connecting with the teacher, following him very sincerely, very arduously. So this is called upasana in that case. Sacha phalam apnoti upasanasya. So naturally, when a person respects his teacher, follows him very closely, tries to put into practice whatever the teacher instructs him, and tries to assimilate the knowledge given by the teacher, it is called Guru Upasana. And as a result of that, the student will definitely get the fruit of that Upasana. Ataha, and therefore Atrapicha Ya Evam Veda. So here also we should understand that the person, whoever not only knows that, but puts into practice whatever prescribed in this Upanishad part, so he will be Sandhiyate. So he will also get a Sandhi. He will also be united with that. That means he will definitely get the fruit of that kind of Upasana. So what is the fruit? It is the Phalashruti here, that Prajaya. The first fruit is Prajaya. What is Praja? Praja means offspring, the expansion of his family. So basically it is the deep desire within, that everybody wants to see himself becoming many, to see himself enjoying with his offsprings. So this kind of expansion of the family is no other than seeing himself in many forms. And this is the basic desire in the cell itself. That's why after the appearance of that particular cell in the womb, mother's womb, it is a zygote there. But we find there that particular zygote also has a desire, as if it gets mitosis. And there we find that cell multiplication takes place there. So 1 becomes 2, 2 become 4, 4, 8, 16, 32. So this way there is cell multiplication within the womb, and the child is growing. The fetus grows, and we find in the scriptures mentioning the entry of the soul in the 5th month also. Now this kind of finding himself in many forms is the basic cause of that. And that's why the first thing any being, animal or human being, any being desires is procreation or children, offsprings. So that way everybody wants to spread his family. One. Then, okay, one gets children, offsprings, everything okay. But what about food? And for that, Pashubhihi, the Pashu Sampatti is required. In the olden days, there used to be small villages, hamlets, and there used to be ashrama, everything. And for their daily food, they used to depend on this Pashu. And therefore, he says, Pashubhihi. So he will also get the Pashu also. Not only that, Brahma Varchasena. So, in spite of having all this material property, if a person has no spiritual brilliance, everything is in vain. Everything will lose its value. That's why more importance is given to that Brahma Varchasa. What is this Brahma Varchas? It is actually the spiritual radiance. That means on the realization of Brahman, whatever radiance, whatever brilliance a person gets within, that will naturally get reflected on his face, and that is called Brahma Varchas, or the Brahma Iva Varcha. That means the great radiance on his face is also called Brahma Varchas, and it is no other than the result of his true knowledge of reality. And that is also very important here. And not only that, Annadyena Suvargena Lokena, Annadyena Suvargena Lokena. Not only that, Anna Adi. That means the other kind of food, other kind of material property, and Swarga Loka, that is the ultimate thing a person desires. That means actually right from an insect, everybody wants to get that kind of ultimate bliss. And that is the reason why the creatures have been trying to multiply their own species. The desire, the reason behind the desire is only bliss, the ultimate bliss. That means only to get that kind of bliss, the creatures multiply themselves, and the entire expansion of the species is just because of this kind of ultimate bliss. And this bliss is called Swargaloka, and the Upanishad assures that a person who understands and puts into practice the Pancha Mahasamhita as enunciated in this particular part of the Upanishad will definitely get all the other benefits, and not only that, the ultimate benefit or the result called Swargaloka. And after getting that kind of Swarga or ultimate bliss, the person will not aspire or desire long for any other thing, and that is the ultimate quest of human life. And the Upanishad says, you understand this Samhita, you put them into practice, you live for them, and you will definitely get all these material benefits, and ultimately the ultimate, the absolute bliss called Swarga, that also you will get, it assures. And with this, the third Anuvaka of Taittiriya Upanishad ends here, and thereafter we will go to the Chaturtha Anuvaka in the next class, and we stop here. Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.